Hey guys, so for this video I'll be unboxing TAEMIN's second studio album, but the repackaged edition. So it is moved but with a few more songs. So I actually had a feeling that he was gonna get a repack, so that's why I didn't get the first edition of this. So I got lucky and I saved some money, because these days I'm just either waiting on a repackage. If not, then I'll just get one copy, and I don't want to get multiple versions. But like I always do for my unboxings, I will unbox the album and then talk about what I think about it afterwards. And as usual, I make a comparison to a jewel case for those who are curious how big the album is. This is how big it is. So if you own a copy of Press It or Bass or Ace from basically any solos from Jonghyun and Taemin, it has the same format, so I love that I can put them all together. And yes, so here's the front and the back. You do get 13 songs, but the last one is just a bonus track, so it is 13 songs. Yes, so there's the back, front. So here's the disc and a picture of Taemin. So the photo card that I got was this one. I don't know how many versions there are, but I really like this photo. Oops. Yeah, it's pretty nice photo of Taemin. And then for those who use the Genie application or the website, here's a code if you want to use it. So first come, first serve, and then an advertisement as per usual for SM. Then you get the track list again, so you can see that you get 13 songs. You get Day and Night Love, Day and Night Love, Move, Love, Snowflower, Crazy for You, Heart Stop featuring Seulgi. From Red Velvet, Rise, I'm Crying, Thirsty, Stoneheart, Back to You, Hypnosis, and A Flame of Love, the Korean version. And these pictures are great. I love the concept for this. And I'm glad that this album did quite well. So, very proud of Taemin and all the work he puts into his music as a solo artist, because as SHINee he's amazing as well, but sometimes solos are either a hit or miss. But when it comes to solos in SHINee, he's actually my favorite. I know we only have gotten solos from Jonghyun and Taemin, but I gear more towards the sound that Taemin puts out, but I still really like the music that Jonghyun put out as a solo artist. Yeah, Jonghyun's music is more R&B and more soul, while Taemin, even though he has some ballads, he sticks to more just dance pop music. So I like that style a little bit more. And then you get the credits and the back. So like I said in the beginning of this video, so as for this album as a whole, I don't think the bonus tracks necessarily did a lot for it. It's still great because they're decent songs, but I don't think they were far superior from the regular tracks in here. So I do like that it makes the album feel more like a full-length album, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of how when SHINee did a repackage for One of One, and they did, I think it's called One and One, and for that one they had a title track called Tell Me What to Do, and then the songs in that the repackaged songs, the new songs, were mostly ballads. It's kind of like the same thing for this, but it fit really well for SHINee's album because they divided it into two parts. So they had a main CD with the main songs, and then a separate CD for the repackaged songs. Obviously, they can't really do that with this. I obviously prefer them doing it all in one for this, because if it's this type of packaging, because that packaging sucks. So it's really difficult to put two discs and this type of packaging. So I understand, but it's kind of like that same feeling. But it still fits the album pretty well, but it doesn't make it as cohesive as it was before. I don't know if I make any sense, but this album as a whole is mostly just dance pop music with a few ballads, but the ballads are not like extremely slow ballads. They're kind of like pop ballads. So the new songs that were put into here, they felt a little bit slower than the other ones, but regardless, they're still great songs, and the music video for Day and Night is really pretty as well. So no issues there. So it's just kind of how it just made this album seem a little bit all over the place, but it still is a great album. So if you don't like those type of songs, I would just recommend getting the regular edition for it, because if you like more of that sound, you're not gonna particularly enjoy the extra songs. But I think the more songs the better sometimes. But I don't know, I just made that decision. But this was actually one of my favorite albums last year. I mentioned it in my K-pop favorites. This was my favorite solo male solo from last year, and then Taeyeon had my overall favorite album, but definitely neck and neck with Taeyeon for one of my favorite albums last year. I don't know if TAEMIN will get another solo this year. I think SHINee might be gearing towards having an album in Korea and then taking a little bit of a break, and then I don't know, because there's still a lot of things up to debate. SHINee was actually supposed to come back last year, but with the whole ONU scandal, that was all postponed, and then they put TAEMIN's promotion from a solo, they extended it. So what they did, TAEMIN was actually supposed to come back a lot earlier, but then he was booked for The Unit, which is a survival show, so he's a judge in that show. So I guess SM just decided to wait for the show to air, then he could get promoted, and then he can have that public exposure to increase album sales and just overall promotions for it. And then they did this repackage during December, since the album had just been out for like a month and a half or something like that. So they just put SHINee's album as a postponed release with the whole ONU incident with him being drunk. And then unfortunately Jonghyun passed away, but he just released his album today, which is really funny because this arrived today and then Jonghyun album comes today. I will be getting that very soon. My favorite album from Jonghyun for sure. Please listen to it, please buy it. The proceeds for that release will go towards his family and then for a foundation or something. I think they're gonna do something relating to help people who perhaps are struggling with some mental struggles in Korea. So I don't know how they're gonna deal with that, but at least it's going towards his family, because obviously it was his last piece of work. So I'm really glad that SM was able to talk with the family, and they decided to make to release it after his passing. So please check it out. It's a really, really great album. It's very diverse for him. I think that it was probably the most interesting release from him. It's my favorite as a solo for Jonghyun. So look forward to that unboxing sometime soon, probably in the end of February, and depending on where I get it. So really, really happy with that album. And like I was saying, they were actually supposed to release an album as a group. So obviously Jonghyun either took part in writing some of the songs for SHINee or in the production, and obviously he recorded some of the songs. So I don't know how SM is going to deal with the songs, if they're going to re-record the songs, or if they're going to get rid of the songs to give them to another group, or just get rid of them as a whole, or if they're going to include Jonghyun's vocals and SHINee is going to release it as like the final SHINee as 5 up to a certain extent, because I don't know how far the album was I guess produced. I don't know if it was going to be a mini or if it was a full-length album. So depending on how many songs were recorded, I don't know how they're going to deal with that. I would like to hear those songs as 5, because SHINee do a phenomenal job as a 5-member group when it comes to harmonies and all of that. So it would be nice to hear it at least one last time for them as a 5-member group. But I understand if they change the gears of directions, because obviously there's a lot of things that will be dealing that they will have to resolve with that whole issue, because the members would have to perform the songs, and maybe they feel either a little bit uncomfortable performing them without Jonghyun, or maybe the family doesn't want the more songs to be released. So I don't know how that's going to be handled, but I have a feeling that SHINee is going to come back this year because it is their 10th year anniversary, and I hope that I'm sure they'll probably do something to honor Jonghyun and celebrate 10 years with him, because technically he's been with SHINee for over 10 years, because they were trainees together. So I hope that they get a better promotional cycle for this 10-year anniversary than Girls' Generation and Super Junior did, because they definitely deserve it. SHINee is one of those groups that changed the game in K-pop. I think they've done so much, and I think they're underappreciated, or in my opinion, I think SHINee are underrated for how much they've done, and how they've just been able to experiment with so many musical styles but still maintained their SHINee feel, you know, because sometimes groups completely change all of a sudden. It doesn't make any sense, or the songs would just suck. But SHINee is one of those groups that I think can do any sort of genre, are extremely just charismatic performers, and they don't follow trends. SHINee never really followed any trend. They always went on their own little lane. And what I really love so much about SHINee is that when you put a bunch of K-pop groups, I would say like in a list, or I would just, how I visualize it is on a board, and put all those groups, and then you can categorize them in certain types of sounds or type of concepts. SHINee is it's probably, I think, the only group that really went against just the gender norms, because their sound and their style when they first came out wasn't necessarily extremely feminine. I mean, not extremely masculine, but not extremely feminine, but still kind of not gender defying. I don't know how to explain it, but they were really quirky and just weird, kind of how FX was back in the day. SHINee did it first, so they has this eclectic style from the beginning that no other group I have ever seen in K-pop do. So they really did something different from the very beginning, and obviously they've evolved over time, and their discography in Japan is a whole nother different world, because it's still great music from Japan. So I hope that they will continue making music. I know they will, but with the whole Jonghyun thing, I am still praying that the members are going strong and that they'll come back stronger than ever to, you know, show everyone what SHINee is and how much impact they've done on the music industry in Korea. I think they're so underrated for everything they've done and that all of the obstacles they've been able to overcome. So please buy Jonghyun's album, buy Taemin's album, because they're both definitely worth buying. It's great, solid music, and yeah, I can't wait to have Jonghyun's, I think it's called Poet, Artist Poet, something like that. I can't wait to have it in my hands because I loved a lot of the songs in there. So yes, and then as for songs that I really enjoyed from here, I think the song Thirsty, Stoneheart could have deserved music videos as well. Love is a great song as well, and the duet with Seolgi is another memorable track in here. And then Move went against any of the norms from K-pop last year, so Taemin did an extremely amazing job with this. So if you have any other questions, please comment down below, or any sort of request for videos. I will be hopefully willing to make a video request. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And then as for unboxings, I will be getting Winner's second single album from last year. I think it's R something like that, R24 or something, and the one with Love Me and G Friends repackaged for their mini album last year, which is called The Rainbow. And yeah, and then obviously I am about to order Jonghyun's new album, so yes, look out for those videos. And obviously, if I get anything else, I'll unbox it instantly. And then I'm waiting for Infinite to release a repackage, because I don't want to buy the album right now because it is really expensive. So I'm going to wait a little bit to see how they're going to deal with the whole repackage thing. Yeah, so that's it. Bye.